on in. So here we are. We got Whack Limitation versus iCeland, and remember, this is a this champ bracket. It is double lim, but it is a best of one, and we do not have the ban data, but we do have the picks here. Whack Limitation. Actually, I got the scoreboard actually reversed. I gotta fix that real quick. Swap players. Let's do that.
Nice.
There we go. I'm on point.
You're pretty good at this.
I'm all right.
This isn't your first rodeo.
This is not my first rodeo. It's like my fourth, which is not a whole lot. But we got iCeland here, so we got Shyvana in the jungle, Ari in the mid, Cognunu bot lane there for going for that combo, and Jax in the top lane with the skin we don't see too often, the mighty Jax, the hockey, the Olympic one.
Yeah, nice. I like it.
WhackLimitation Gaming, while they're being spotted here and looking at Kog'Maw do his little victory cry, we got Janna, we got Caitlyn with her in the bot lane, Lee Sin in the jungle, Galio in the mid, someone you don't see too often.
Yeah.
But look at this Mundo top, which is something.
Yes.
It's something that we were actually recently introduced to at Face Off when Singapore Sentinels were doing it, and they're like, oh no, everyone in Asia is doing Mundo top now, and that's proof positive because there he is. He's going to be going top lane.
Yeah, and he did pretty good at IPL Face Off as well. I mean, I believe they won the game when they played Mundo top. The one game that we saw him.
They did it both games. They did it quite often, and the first two games they brought out they won, but I think against Curse they kind of fell off. But actually, I'm going to correct myself because it looks like Jackson's going to stay top lane, going to be going against the 2v1.
What the heck?
Janna and Caitlyn going top lane. Mundo actually going to be 2v1ing here bot against the Kog'Maw, against the Nunu.
Okay, that's an interesting matchup. I mean, Mundo, of course, is really good at poking down, and when he hits level 6, he has just so much sustain in lane.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see him being able to CS really well, regardless of being, that 2v1 lane in the bot. So, yeah, good. That's not a good that's a pretty good matchup for them. Meanwhile, in the top lane, I mean, Jax is going to have, I think, a little bit harder time because of the shield from Janna.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to just dive onto Caitlyn like that and get the trades that he wants. So it's going to be a little bit harder for Jax than I think it is for Mundo in the bot.
But we did actually see yesterday with Dash 9 for our latest qualifiers. The problem with Caitlyn going in a 2v1 situation, granted, yeah, she'll be able to get the harass in, she'll be able to do a lot of things to Jax, but the pushing power isn't the greatest. But then again, that was Caitlyn going up against an AP, someone who can farm at range.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a Morgana. This is Jax. This is someone who is melee range. He's going to have a significantly tougher time here than in most situations. Not to mention you have all of that dissuasion coming in from Janna.
Yeah.
You do have that shield, and he also, if Jax comes on in, it's a commitment. And if you get the right reflexes there on MCZ, you're going to be a very timely trap. And that could actually be pretty ugly for the young hockey player there.
Definitely. Yeah, Janna's doing a really good job of just harassing Jax down. Meanwhile, Caitlyn just gets to sit back and farm and push the lane. And that's what Caitlyn likes to do. And I mean, they're doing it really well. I mean, that tower is already taking a lot of damage, and we're really early into this game. So that tower is probably going to go down pretty quick. Unless they get some help from jungle. But again, Lee Sin is mid, trying to do some pressure on Ari, so we're not going to see that anytime soon. Oh, I'm sorry. What am I talking about? So Shyvana's coming to the top lane to maybe try to help out. But yeah, it's not going to be good for them. Jax the tower's going to go down fast, and like Mundo's doing a pretty good job in that bot lane. I mean, he's sitting back, he's just letting it happen. They can't push as hard as Caitlyn could push.
Right. Plus, also Mundo, he did enter lane. He went out in his game plan. He knew, their team is actually going to be the ones doing the switch. So Whack, discussing is like, okay, Mundo, you're going to go bot. You might as well beef up Doran's shield. Actually, is an amazing item on him.
Oh.
Meanwhile, you got Ari in the mid. You got Lee Sin coming in from behind you. You want to go ahead and get that kill. First blood. The Galio will actually go down in exchange, but that's going to be a little bit of an advantage here for Whack Limitation. They did get the first blood, and they also got the assist on that. So they're still going to end up ahead on that exchange, despite the fact, though, that the gold is still even.
Yeah, and Lee Sin is one of those junglers that can do a lot of damage early game and can snowball really hard, which is a lot different than what we're seeing a lot in North America now, which is more like the gold pretend jungling style, which is like Maokai, which kind of was ripped off from Azubu Blaze, and a lot of Nunu nowadays. So a lot less damage dealing and more utility coming out of the jungles. But here, Lee Sin getting those early kills can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, and Lee Sin really relies on a lot of those early kills, a lot of that early pressure in order to stay relevant in these games, because if he doesn't get those kills, if he doesn't get what he wants, he can fall off, and he can call off he can fall off pretty severely as well, even though he's actually going really heavily invested into the Q. He's only got 1 point in the shield, only got 1 point in the Tempest, so he's looking for damage. He wants to get those kills. He wants to make plays.
Make them plays.
Make them plays.
Just, yeah, I mean, that's what I want to see. I want to see some plays made. Meanwhile, Galio just trying to poke down Ari, and Ari just farming and doing a little poking back. And Jax had to back there because he was getting really low from that, again, that hard pushing coming from them. And Shyvana had to go cover. But yeah, that tower's going down. Meanwhile, Lee Sin is going to try to make something happen here, getting that kick, and just not in the right position.
Yep.
He doesn't have boots yet, so he's not doing a whole lot of. You can't do a whole lot of strong ganks.
Went for the cloth armor first. Probably going to be going for that Wriggles build to give the team a little bit more dragon control, a little bit more Baron control, because they are in the face of a Nunu who does have to consume. Meanwhile, Mundo Gang very slowed. He's got the fire all around him, trying to give everyone back. But with Shyvana here in the top lane, Jax, he can try and get a little bit of harass down, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about that, the jungle path that Lee Sin took. He hadn't backed yet at level 5, which that's pretty uncommon. I mean, you want to try to get those boots early so you can do stronger ganks, at level 4 when you have double buff.
Yeah.
But he decided to stick around and try to make something happen, but it didn't really pay off at all. Meanwhile, Jax is just trying to dive in and do some damage here. And wow, he's getting a pretty fierce trade here.
He is level 6. Yeah. He does have that passive tornado coming in from Janna. But Jal, if he can get in one more leap strike and power strike, anything, nice shield. The Ignite coming in as well, but the slow the Ignite will kill the Janna. But Caitlyn's not 6 yet, only halfway there.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, and what happened there was he dove in on Janna, and when the problem with that here comes Lee Sin. He's going to try to make something happen, but see if Jax can get out. Man, this Jax.
He is 6. Lee Sin is 6. He could just drag and kick him away, but he's taking he's taking the correct retreat path.
Yeah.
And usually when you see a top laner in a situation like that, you'll see them actually go around this way, the long way. He's like, I got to get to my tower, but no. The interception, was there, so nice job. Nice
that was good
on Kurenai.
Yeah, and I mean the Jax went in and jumped onto the support, and usually the problem with that is the AD will just sit back and just kind of rail on you as you're trying to kill the support, and that's the problem. But Caitlyn was just kind of sitting there, not doing a lot of damage, and just was really worried about that. So maybe the fear that Jax instilled in Caitlyn was enough for him to not attack and take that Jax or that awesome Janna kill and then get out just barely scraping by.
He's probably not going to get that again though, because now the top tower is actually gone. Caitlyn is now 6, so she has the ultimate.
Yeah.
So that's not going to be happening again. No way he's going to be able to get away with a shred of life again. So, but as you see here, you do see MCZ actually walking on down to bot lane, going to cover for the Mundo, because right now Wax bot tower, it may be hurt, but it is still up, unlike iCeland's.
Yeah, so yeah, that's really good for them to switch back bot now that tower is gone. And I've seen that a lot from the Korean style of play where they just they prioritize towers, and so they switch the lanes accordingly so they can push down and take those early towers. So I think that's what we're going to see here. The problem with that is, I mean, you're seeing right here, Kog'Maw can just kind of poke down Caitlyn and force Janna to use all that mana, trying to shield her. So we'll see how effective the push is down here.
And also you'll notice that actually while in that situation, granted Caitlyn did get to tower, Kog'Maw's been getting more farmed. So, and with this, and also Caitlyn does have a little bit of a range dispute here with Kog'Maw, but now that Kog'Maw's 6, the range is not really too much of an issue. Meanwhile, in mid, you do have Galio continuing on with the push. Ari actually got a nice little level lead on him. You got a little bit more XP. But you do have the Lee Sin from behind. The Dragon Kick going to be going back further into the tower. You got the Galio coming on in, and Lee Sin, will he live? Yes, he will. Nice gank there in the mid from behind.
That was really good, and they needed to put Ari a little bit farther behind. And here comes the Caitlyn ultimate, just trying to do some damage.
Wrong target.
Yeah, that was maybe trying to scare him back. I'm not really sure why I did that. But yeah, it was good for them to to kill Ari when they could. And meanwhile, Jax and Mundo are just trying to do some trading. But Mundo's going down really quick here, and he's getting out. Yeah, there's that ultimate. He was forced to pop it so that he could get that mobility, get that regen, and make things a little bit easier for him. But I mean, good in the mid lane, taking out Ari. She had like a 20 farm lead. That's where that those extra levels I think were coming in, where Galio's being forced to back, but just farming really well. And Galio, man, he just has such strong pokes and he farms so well. I'm really impressed that Ari is as far ahead as she is.
Yeah, but also you look at Ari, you got the revolver, you got all these Doran's rings, so Ari's looking to sustain quite a bit here. Meanwhile, Jax is going in. There's no ult on Mundo, but here comes a teleport actually coming in from Galio. Can you get something happening here? 150 health on this Jax. He gets some vision. Here comes the Lee Sin, and the kick cannot leap strike to that ward quick enough, and there you go. Lee Sin will follow and get that kill. Meanwhile, SMZ here as Janet in the bot lane.
They're just
you got the snowball. You got the Monsoon just to get a little bit of health back, but it's not going to be enough.
Just missed the ult on Cog there. Is that what happened? Just just right outside of it? Oh, man, that's really good. Good dive, and that's the danger of leaving Jan all by her lonesome.
Yeah, you don't do that.
Yeah, with Nunu, too, there's no escape. When it's 2v1 and one of them is Nunu, it's well, you just pushed up a little too far, and he's going to snowball you.
Yeah, especially
in the face.
In the face, and he's been leveling up quite decently. And we also saw this from some support Nunus yesterday, actually. Not a single point in the consume.
Huh.
So no, it's just he's on a diet.
Yeah,
he's on diet.
I think I like that. It shows that you're confident in your play. You're not going to get poked down, and you're not going to need the sustain and lane to with that consume. I mean, it's there as kind of like a safety net. I accidentally took a couple auto attacks. Oh, and Ari's just trying to make something happen on Galio here. Just throwing that orb and that charm. Yeah.
The charm doing a little bit, but that's the thing though. Galio, it's kind of his deal. He builds a lot of MR.
Yeah.
He gets a great benefit from it from his passive. He's got the Chalice. He's got the Merc Treads as well. So, granted, Ari can get that poke in, but it's going to not be doing as much as it normally would. Plus, also you have the regen there from the revolver. Ari's going to be getting quite a bit of health back, and also remember that Spell Vamp also procs on true damage.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, if you have Spell Vamp, if you're a jungler, if you smite something, you actually get health back.
Yeah. That's really, really strong. Damn, that's strong. We don't really see a lot of Galio anymore, and I'm curious why. He farms so well, and he's so, he works so well in team fights.
Yeah.
Maybe he's fallen out of favor for maybe more mobile mid champions, I guess. He can go to the bot lane, but he doesn't do a whole lot other than just kind of poke and. I don't know.
Well, I think Galio in this comp really fits because we may actually see here because he has the ult up coming on in.
Yeah.
Will get the Nunu. Caitlyn following it up with the ult. Probably should have done a few more auto attacks though, but here comes Lee Sin. Missing the point blank Q, but it's fine. You got the slows come in. Nice pickup right there from Caitlyn. It's either that Galio fits here because look at the rest of the team. You got Janna, you got Caitlyn, you got Lee Sin, you got Mundo. There's not a whole lot of hard initiation.
Yeah, that's true.
Right here on Whack Limitation. And that's the thing too with Galio is that when you're in a situation like that, if you pick Galio, odds are you're probably the primary means of initiation for the team.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's a pretty damn good initiation. Just flash ult on Galio is amazing. But as the game drags on, remember that granted the ult cooldown will actually go down. The flash cooldown is something that's going to always remain constant. So if you want to fight later on in, most characters you just have to wait for the ult to come back up. Galio, he needs to wait for the ult and the flash in order to get the optimal position he wants. Because even then you saw right there in that last fight, he didn't have the flash. If he did, he could have actually gotten both Nunu and Cog, but he had to settle for just the Nunu.
That's true. Oh, meanwhile, there's a huge team fight happening going on, and they're just poking and trying to play it safe here. And just don't Galio, just don't get too far out there, man. And Ario gets poked down. I don't know if they want to do this. This is a little bit scary. They're a little bit low, and Galio just waiting to pop that ultimate at the right time here.
No, it's actually on. It's actually
still
on cooldown.
Okay, so
it's still on cooldown. So iCeland can actually engage on this. But here's the thing, though: is Ari is a little bit too low. Had to use the ult to fly away just to make sure that she wouldn't get chunked out completely. Dragon is still going to be there, but with Ice a little bit separated here. Whack Limitation is go ahead, get in, and try and get some damage on the tier 1 and mid. They should be able to take it out here with Ari and with Jax back at base, and there you go. MCZ going to go ahead and grab that tower.
We were talking about the strong initiation on Galio. I'm not convinced that they want to initiate. I feel like they're such a stronger poke team, and when they get all clumped together with that Nunu ult, with the Cog ult, with just the the AOE, the group damage from Ari as well. I don't know if that's going to be the best course of action for them. they might just want to keep poking down. I mean, they have such a strong poke comp with Caitlyn and you know, with the Mundo cleavers too.
Well, there's a little you have the poke coming from Kog, you got poke coming in from Ari. But here's the thing too, is that for initiation, at least on iCeland, you gotta have Shyvana and Jax, and they're gonna be going in as a duo.
Yeah.
Very often, like with champs like Nocturne, when you go in with the ult for that initiation, you're kind of suiciding on in. But here, you got Shyvana, you got Jax working together as a combo. You can't focus them both down. You have to choose one. And amidst that chaos, you're going to have Ari doing all this damage. You're going to have Kog'Maw safe in the back doing all this damage. Yeah. And you also got Nunu there as a nice little escape plan as well, for you want to go ahead and also secure that kill. And also remember that if you have Nunu's actually works really well in this setup also, because in the event Galio does get his initiation on, when it's all said and done, when the taunt is over, TKS can just go ahead and ult. There's not a whole lot of other disable there on Whack Limitation to go ahead and stop that. Granted, you do have Janna, you do have a lot of disruption there, but that's the thing. Do you want Janna? She'll have to go ahead and use the tornado, use the monsoon. Lee Sin will have to use the kick and just try and focus down to get rid of that. Meanwhile, you got Carlos here in the tri-brush, dragon form. Shyvana coming on in, exhaust going down onto the Lee Sin. Will actually still go down. Jax will actually jump right back into the fight. Will not save the dragon Lady Mundo. You still go down, but Galio there with the ult gonna keep Jax under wraps just for a little bit. But here comes Ari though to join on in. Jax will not go down. Mundo going to be going right there, right down in that fight. You got the orb. You got all the damage from Ari. Jax is waiting for a moment. Can he get that stun? No, he cannot get the stun. Ari, will you go down? Yes, last auto attack.
Oh, that was pretty spectacular. Oh, meanwhile, in the bot lane, getting a little over pushed there from Caitlyn and Janna, and Nunu's just going to try to close that gap with that blood boil, getting those snowballs off. Oh, nice, and the Janna. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Nice monsoon. That's waiting. Just like, you're waiting for that snowball.
Yeah.
Because they just wanted to time it, so the snowball was still just like not quite there, not quite ready.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the bot turret for Whacked Limitation Gaming is down, and so they're going to have a little bit more freedom, Kog'Maw and Nunu in lane to just push, and you have to be more careful. And iCeland has some good wards. They're going to be able to push hard and push up to the tower and be pretty safe, and kind of just force some of the other teammates for Whack to come down and put some pressure on them, so they can't just free farm, so they can't just take that bottom tower.
Yeah. So I mean, both of these teams, they're looking for their poke. Yeah. We're trying to soften up everybody just right before they get into these huge fights. No idea where that golem is. that golem.
Wow.
Never mind.
I don't know.
This is a replay. This is a replay. Things happen sometimes. It's not like a Baron vanish.
Yeah.
It didn't really vanish. Curse took it.
You're not supposed to. It's a secret.
You do have Lee Sin and Galio right out in front, and they're right behind this minion wave. iCeland, you got Jax. He's actually up on his lonesome here top lane. He's looking to regroup. You got Ari taking the blue. So there's going to be a little bit of a window here for Whack to go ahead and get their push in. But they may actually very well sandwich themselves in. But as a nice little escape plan, you do have Galio. His flash and ult are up. He can get that initiation if he wants to. But also look though, there's a lot of good wave clearing here from iCeland. You got Jax. He's pretty fast at it. You got Kog'Maw. He can also do it safely from a distance. And Ari with that orb. Look at that. Pretty much the entire wave's gone.
Yep, that's pretty good. And Whack was kind of just stalling and poking down, but I think they realized that it was just all for nothing. They need to go out. They need to get some more farm. This is actually kind of a low farm game. Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
They're doing all right. Yeah.
Kog'Maw's doing pretty damn well in farm, but
it's just that so far this game, very quickly the team started gathering on it. As soon as the tower went down top, everyone from all the teams just started scrambling and starting to converge onto objectives. And so with that, it's a lot. It's not as much time as you normally see some champs in the laning phase. Sometimes you see them just stick around for a little bit longer. But you also see opportunities like this where he'll actually just have to go right back into the lane to try and get some extra farm.
Yeah, and Jax is getting to that point where he's getting real scary. There's that where the flip is switched. The flip is switched.
The switch is
whatever it is.
The flip is flipped.
Yeah.
All right, the flip has been flipped.
It's flipped, and Jax is going to turn it on, and he can get pretty crazy now. And,
yeah.
Muno just doesn't. I mean, he does pretty good damage early on, but as you get into the later game, you build tanky on him, and that damage falls off really fast. So
yeah.
and Jax. He does tons of damage, so
he does.
Yeah, so it's a little bit scary, and Mundo's going to have to be really careful. Luckily, he has that ultimate; he can get out. He has that health regen, but he's not going to be able to do a lot of dueling because he's really just about absorbing damage and having people blow cooldowns on him. So he's just going to keep farming, and I guess that's kind of the problem with him in the top lane. Like the top lane is so much about snowball champions, like. Not completely, but a lot of it. I mean, you see a lot of Jax and Vladimir and Olaf and Rumble. These champions that get extremely strong in the late game, do tons of damage, and Mundo really doesn't fit that kind of mentality. He's really just kind of tanky and utility.
Well, he can fit that role, but he requires a lot of farm to do so.
Yeah.
He needs the itemization to go ahead and do that. Items like the Soul Shroud, like the Warmogs. He needs that extra health. He needs that regen. And so far, he's got Doran shields. He's got a Heart of Gold, Kindle Gem. It's so he's gotten a lot of small items. He's not really gotten any big name items quite yet. Granted, he's got quite a bit of regen to his name already. But then again, if you're being focused down immediately in a fight, when you have a nice little hyper carry there like Jax, if he gets properly farmed, he's actually level 12, so he's got level 2 in that ult, so he's going to be doing quite a bit more damage there in those fights. It could be very difficult, but you do have Whack. They're right here in front of the Baron Pit. They have the pink ward down, but not in the right place. But here comes Ari coming in with the charm, trying to get a little bit of damage, but Galio out in front, looking for that ultimate, trying to see what he can get, but knowing that iCeland has backed off just a little bit, WhackLimitation, you're going to go ahead and try and get this dragon.
Oh, and meanwhile, Kog'Maw just coming in doing a lot of damage, and Shyvana just trying to get in and make something happen, but oh man, people are just dropping like flies, and Kog'Maw, you're going to need to get out of there, man.
You got Mundo flashing over the wall, just trying to get out, and actually a little bit of help from Janna actually brings Ari closer to Mundo. And with this, the flash coming in, Jack's going to go ahead and clean up the Mundo. Caitlyn going to be the only one remaining. The trap going to keep Nunu still just for a little bit, but the leap strike and the counterattack will go ahead and clean up everything. The ace.
Yeah,
going to Kernal.
Oh my gosh, Whack decided they were gonna do that dragon fight in the pit right there.
Yeah, let's actually go back just for a second to see how everything planned out here. You see Whack right here. They're starting up on that dragon, and then here comes from the side. You got Shyvana right on into the pit. You got Kog'Maw doing plenty of damage. Now Nunu pops you out. Jax though, focusing down Caitlyn the entire time. Granted, does a great Galio ult, but Ari in the middle of it actually managed to kill him, and also Jax wasn't a part of it. So during all of that time, Caitlyn was completely preoccupied with other things. Was not able to capitalize on all the opportunity that Galio was giving the rest of the team, and with that, everything else just falls apart.
Yeah, they started, they're doing that dragon fight in the pit, and so at some point they're going to need to leave the pit, or they're going to get all clumped up and they're going to die. So on their way out, Nunu's like, well, I could just toss my ultimate up, and you have to walk through it to try to kill us, and just tons of damage to everyone around him. So that combined with the Kog'Maw ultimate coming in there and doing that splash, and then the Ari coming in there and just doing a lot of damage too. And Jax knows right who to go for. Went right for Caitlyn, and it puts you in a position where you have to run or you're going to die. And Caitlyn decided to run, and in return couldn't do a lot of damage, and that's a really big problem. And that's why Jax is such a strong champion, because he can dive right for that back line, and he can just take out your carries really, really fast.
And not only can he dive straight into the back line, he can also go ahead and capitalize on characters that don't have many escape options, like Caitlyn does. She only has the net, and in the off chance you want a cupcake. Like that's it. That's all you got.
Yeah, and the net isn't exactly the greatest CC in the game.
That's the thing. Well, neither of these teams really have the greatest CC in the world.
But they got Janna.
They got Janna.
Janna's got some CC up in here.
Janna's got some pretty decent ones. But here's the thing, though, with WhackLimitation, though, that Galio, it's very reliant on him getting all 5 champs in his ult.
Yeah.
If he misses someone critical, if he misses Jax, if he misses Shyvana, if he misses anybody, they're just going to go straight on in and just take out Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah, and that's
a problem.
That's a big issue, I would say. Yeah, Galio a little volatile in the use of that ultimate. So gonna have to be really careful. But now they're iCeland has Baron. They get to push, they get to poke, and meanwhile Whack just has to sit and kind of take it. And we'll see if they can take this tower here.
You still got quite a while on the Baron buff. You still got about 2 minutes left on the thing, a little bit more, like 2.5. And just the waves can just continue to push. Granted, Whack, they do have a pretty decent wave pushing into top lane, and bot lane's actually kind of even. So right now, if iCeland, if they want to make a play, they need to do it here. Galio ult is up, Flash is not. It's going to take a little while longer for that to come back in, but here comes the minion waves once again. Caitlyn ult trying to front load some damage down onto Ahri, and Ahri's actually very low. It's going to be dangerous for her to get on into these fights, but with plenty of time killed, Jax and Kog'Maw come on in, focus down that mid tier 2, and take that thing out.
Yeah, blew that Caitlyn ult. That's a one less thing to worry about. So it's like, wow, I can just jump in here now that the Caitlyn ult. She's not gonna pick anybody.
Totally. Don't even worry about the Galio ult.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even an issue. But Shyvana actually getting pretty slowed. Has to Dragon Form just to get to safety. Nunu ult just for safety. But look at Jax trying to 1v4 the entire team. But Galio coming on in and melts immediately to the Jax double kill coming down onto the Great One. You got Lee Sin actually going down as well, and Ahri cleanup. Total cleanup. Triple on Ahri, double on Jax. We're looking at that again.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna watch and see Jax and Ahri just dive right for that back and just kill everybody, and then the tanks, the people that are supposed to be doing the taking the damage, are gonna be kind of hanging out.
Shyvana's out, and look at Jax. Focusing down the Galio, actually, because he's actually pretty low. Ahri with the ult over the wall. But here you go. Galio ults with 100 health. And remember, granted, yes, Galio is taunting. He's still tanking. He can die during the thing. Because if he does, he needs the health to back himself up on the ult. And if he has no health to do it, then he's no good as a tank. He's going to die during it, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah,
that was really brilliant of Jax to go in and attack Galio and force him to use his ult in a situation where he didn't want to, where you're doing it on one and just two people with Ahri and Jax, leaving the other three to do a bunch of damage. And so really smart getting in there, and just really bad positioning from Whack there. They're all clumped up. The people that you needed to be to stay alive, they weren't able to get the pressure off of them. They were dying really quick, and that's just really good team comp from iCeland. They can just dive into the back with Shyvana, with Jax, and with Ahri, and get to the back and kill your carries. So I really like the utilization of this comp that they have.
And also, that's another thing with Galio too. Is that look how he's itemizing. It's just natural for Galio to go ahead and buy a lot of MR.
Yeah.
But you look at Jax, he's doing quite a bit of physical with the Trinity and the Bilgewater. You look at Shyvana, and it doesn't even really need to build a whole lot. It's just how do you prevent against Jax? How do you prevent against Kog'Maw with also the Quicksilver Sash?
Yeah.
Which was like, oh, you ulted me, you taunted. Well, I guess, well, too bad.
Yeah, and we've seen the success of Cog Nunu and what that can do, how beast that gets. With the attack speed increase from Cog on himself, and then the attack speed increase from Nunu, you're spitting so fast.
Plus the Zeeks. Plus the Zeeks.
Oh yeah, the Zeeks too. Yeah. So I mean, just so much damage coming out of Kog'Maw, and just look at him fly around. He's so
happy. He's so happy.
Fancy free.
Oh man.
Yeah. So iCeland just in a really good position. I mean, they have a 10K gold lead now. It was pretty close up until those two team fights where Whack was just out of position and didn't initiate just right. And they have such a strong initiation with Galio and mediumly strong initiation with Mundo. So
it's just waiting. iCeland is just waiting. They have the timer right there on the Dragon Pit. It's going to be no issue for them to get it, and just throwing off the battle cries while they're waiting. There you go. Dragon should go down. 1, 2, 4 seconds.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping it was one of those situations where they had it a minute early or something. And we just
all that damage going down into Caitlyn, forcing the cleanse just in case you were taunted. But a little front load damage there on to the Ahri. You got the rest of Black Limitation. If they don't make something huge happen here, it could be bad. Flash out of the team fight there from Galio. He's not even going to be using it for that ult. He still wants to try and get something here, but Jack's coming on, and here comes the taunt. Going to get two members of iCeland. QSS actually being used on the Kog'Maw. Nunu ult not even really necessary here. Galio's going down. Lee Sin's going down. That is 4 for free there for iCeland. Triple kill on the Kog'Maw. This is looking bad. This
Yeah,
is looking bad for WhackLimitation.
Yeah, I mean, Jack 7-2, Ari 8-3, and Cog is 5-1, and we're now seeing that late game Cog come into effect where he, doesn't care anymore. He's walking through towers. He's getting hit by Galio because he's like, well, taunt me and I'll attack you down in like 2 seconds.
Honey Badger Cogma. Honey Badger Cogma. That's pretty much the story right now.
Exactly. So,
actually, Honey Badger Jack's even too. He doesn't even care about the towers. Like, I'll take it, whatever. Iceland is inhabited by honey badgers.
Yeah.
I learned something today.
No.
Probably not true. Yeah. It's probably massively untrue.
Hey, I bet they're delicious, honey badgers, don't you think?
Well, based on the name, I would hope so, but you know what?
Sound tasty.
I don't want to test that.
Maybe a little gamey.
Hey! We went 35 minutes without talking about food.
Hey!
I think that's a new record.
This is the best cast we've ever done.
I think so. It's up there.
I'm a little hungry now, but
anyway, soon.
so Whack is pretty whack at this point. It's not looking good for them. They're really far behind.
15K.
Yeah, this is, actually I've been talking with Baron a lot about Caitlyn and how she's like the strongest laning AD. But when you get into the team fight phase, she's so single target that she just doesn't do well in the late game, compared to champions like Corki or Graves, these champions that can do AoE and have just amazingly good positioning, can get in and out. And
that's the thing too, because I mean, we talked about it on the cast a little bit last night too, is that when you're in a team fight, I'm like, when I play Caitlyn, I've been playing her quite a bit lately in ranked, and I have a blast in the laning phase, but as the team fights go on, I have to just consciously tell myself, oh, by the way, all these abilities you have, don't use them, because it's only going to slow you down. And it's true. It really is very true. It's just like, if you try to do anything, because you have the wind up time and everything, you have the delays on everything, you're actually shutting down her own power output here when you use her abilities in huge team fights. And that's the thing too. Granted, you can try and win the lane, you can try and push and do whatever, but as the game goes on, unless your team's already in the lead, it's very minimal what you can do. But now we see that WhackLimitation, they are actually quite far behind. Caitlyn's using the ult to front load damage and not even trying to go for those pick up the straggling kills.
Because there are no stragglers.
Because there are no stragglers. There's nothing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's somewhat of a solution to maybe initiating a little bit, like, hey, put a lot of damage on one person up front, and then just, you need to just auto attack with her, so you don't want to use that in the middle of a fight. So I guess it's pretty smart to use it up front, but meanwhile, bot lane just getting a push, and that inhibs down in mid, so they can kind of just camp on this bot lane and let the minions do the work. And that's what they're doing. They're just poking, and there's nothing that Whack can do because they are too far behind.
The longest 3 minutes, because that's how much time the Baron buff is still going to be on Iceland here. Charm going down onto the Galio. It's quite a bit of damage, but look at Jax. Came the long way around. He went in through the back door, right through mid, and Iceland's going to be plenty of time for them to go ahead and clear on in. And here comes the Shyvana ult right on in. Monsoon from Janet just to keep everybody off of the inhib, but Mundo, he is falling behind. He still needs to follow those papers. And there you go, the inhibiting bot going to be going down, and Iceland may just be able to go ahead and run amok. Ari right out in front, Leeson going down. You got the Galio taunt, but no damage to back that thing up. Right there, Caitlyn going down in spawn. Oh, Jana will barely live in spawn, but Kog'Maw can still go ahead and snipe her out. But hey, that was 4 for 1. Plenty of time. You have the super minions pushing, and
you have Jax.
You got Jax, and there you go. Now Jana goes down. That's the ace, and Iceland going to go ahead and take this round here.
Nice.
You know what? WhackLimitation, they took a gamble.
They did.
They took a huge gamble to it was like, okay, we're gonna pick this comp, and we're gonna bet that we're gonna go ahead and stay ahead for pretty much all game. And hey, it didn't quite work out.
And they were ahead until that bad dragon fight. They had the towers. They were pushing really well. The early game looked really good. They took that tower so fast. And, when you play aggressive early like that, it becomes such a low economy game. I mean, you don't get into the late game. That was relatively short. And so, the gold that you get from a tower is really, really significant versus like the old school of thought where it's like, well, the towers are static. We're going to get them eventually. Let's focus on the dragons and, controlling. But now we see those lane swaps a lot more. And they went and they gambled on that dragon, and it was ugly, man.
It was ugly.
It was bad.
And in a low econ game, picking champs which are very, money hungry.
Yeah.
You got the Mundo, he needs to itemize into health. You got the Galio, he needs to itemize to be tanky. Lee Sin, if he falls behind, he doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
And it fell apart. It just fell a little bit apart.
Fell apart, yeah.
Remember, this is, double limb. It may be best of ones, but it is double limb. We're going to be back in just a little bit. Baron's going to come in, cast with you next.
We're going to hang out.
We're going to hang out, and we're going to have MKS versus Everlasting Friends. Best name ever.
That is who I am rooting for.
I
Everlasting Friends.
I think there's no way you can't.
It's me and you, buddy. Here we go. Yeah. Everlasting Friends.
Yeah. So we'll be back in just a little bit with that. IPL5 Hong Kong qualifiers will continue right after this.